Hello there, this is Sue Simmons of Equinox Family Consulting, and welcome to episode number 20 of To the Spectrum and Beyond. Today I'm going to talk to you about meltdowns and what to do. So again, I'm Sue Simmons. I work with parents, resourceful parents of kids who are recently diagnosed with ASD. These are parents that see a lot of potential in their kids, but because of defiance and power struggle and difficult behavior, their family is being ripped apart, and behavior therapy is not an option for them. So parents can work with me directly to get perfect coaching on how to get behavior under control so that they can be happier and they can have a much more calm and peaceful life at home. So if you are here watching me, I want you to say hello. I want to know who is here. So meltdowns, boy, oh boy, if you have a child with autism, you know what it is like. And I'm going to tell you a story about a client that I worked with who had a repetitive pattern that would take place almost every day. And she came to me, hey, Karen, how are you? She came to me trying to figure out what was going on because her son was being considered oppositional defiant. So we went to work together. So meltdowns can be distinguished from tantrums. They are very different. Okay, so as a meltdown is actually more of a situation where a child is simply at the end of his or her rope versus a child who's not getting what he or she wants. Okay, so there's a big difference between the two. So here's what was happening for my client. Her son was 13 years old, and things seemed to be going very well at school, but he would come home from school seemingly okay, and she would ask him, how was your day? Or just, want to know what had happened to him during the day. And he would lose it. He would completely snap. And of course, she was very frustrated by this, and she would take it personally. Okay, so she would get angry, and she would take it personally and yell. And of course, you can imagine, hey, I've got other people here with me. Thank you for joining me. Let me know who it is, okay? Say hello. Share the love. So she came to me and she said, my son is being considered for a diagnosis of ODD. Say hello, people. Say hello. And so we got talking about the challenges that she was having, and in particular, this repetitive thing that would happen every day. So she talked to the teacher at school to make sure that things were okay, and it seemed to, right? It seemed to be okay. But once we looked into things a little further and we actually talked to her son, she had no idea what was really going on for her son. So he disliked group work. He felt very uncomfortable interacting with the other kids in the group. Recess was super hard for him. So going out on the playground was awkward. He was often by himself. Come on, people, say hello. I do not see any comments down here. What else? He did not cope well with transitions. So moving from, subject to subject was a really big problem for him. Hi, Kara. Hi, Kara. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. Staying on task was huge. Okay, just having to follow along with everything that he had to do to stay on top of things. He had difficulty with executive functioning, so getting the proper books out was a challenge for him. Lunchtime was crazy for him. And he had sensory challenges, right? And so the sounds in the classroom, the visual chaos in the classroom, it was just more than he could manage. So although the teacher didn't see any great big outbursts, she thought he was doing fine, right? Hi, Marcia. Thanks for being here. Jackie. Yes, exactly. I know, right? So although the teacher thought that things were okay, things really weren't. And so what happened was she discovered that the school bus ride, which was 45 minutes, so he had to leave really early in the morning, and he didn't get home until, there was a 45-minute bus ride getting home from school, right, Kara? Yeah, exactly. That by the time he walked in the door, he was just completely wasted and fried. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the rain barrel theory, where we all started with this capacity, right? And so over the course of the day, drip, 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 drip. And so he was working so hard to try. His marks were good. He wanted to do well, and he was, for the most part, able to keep his shit together at school. But as soon as he walked in the door and his mom started sort of, firing the questions at him, that's when he snapped, because he was in his safe zone at home, and his mom was making the mistake, which we all do, right? We're moms, we love our kids. She was making the mistake of wanting to find out how his day was. And anyone who's done this will know that, what do we get from our kids, right? When we say, how was your day? Fine, right? Right? That's what we hear from them. So it turns out that she really had no idea of what was going on for him. And so this poor little guy was being considered for a diagnosis. Hi, Chelsea. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, exactly. Yes. So this poor little guy was being considered for this diagnosis when he was just completely misunderstood. Oh, it's so nice to have people here with me. I just love this. Thank you. And so once we sort of picked it apart, and his mom began to really get a sense of what it was like for him coming in the door, the poor thing, she felt terrible, but, right, then she got it. She realized that he was not trying to be, it was not intentional. And it's so easy, because we're so busy and we're doing a million things, right? It's so easy for us to lose sight of what's going on for our child and to take it personally. Like I did that for years. It's our natural tendency, right? Just to assume that it's about us. And that is almost always not the case. and that is that is a really slippery slope, because when we assume it's about us, not only do we make ourselves feel worse than we did to begin with, but then we can launch a rocket back at our child, and that's what was happening. So I have this thing in my program called the negative repetitive behavior cycle. Yeah, that's it. And so once you understand how, we are inadvertently kind of a part of this process, even though we have no intention to, it's just human nature. And here's the thing, so is our kids' behavior. It's human nature. It is a human response to what's going on for them in their environment. And so, I'm on a bit of a mission here, because I really get the sense that so many practitioners, and I'm not I'm not pointing fingers here, but we don't see our kids as being people. We see them as being very, very different. And they're not all that different from us. They think differently, but they respond to things just the way we do. So if I was to take you or me or anyone else and subject them to all of the challenges that our kids experience, they would do the same thing. So back to the rain barrel theory. So this little guy was working, but by the time he got on the bus and, all of that chaos and commotion, the screaming and yelling and everything, when he got home, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, so it was that one little drop of water that just caused that rain barrel to tip. And he just lost it. So what did we do from there? So we always have to do some investigative work to try to figure out what's going on. Because if we look at behavior on the surface and assume that behavior is intentional, we're never going to get to the bottom of it. And we're only, unfortunately, going to make things worse. So it's really important, if you're seeing a lot of challenging behavior, that you helicopter up, okay, and think about what's going on for your child. And a lot of moms will tell me that it comes out of nowhere, right? It just comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And nor does your behavior come out of nowhere, right? If you just snapped, there's a reason for it. And it's the same with our kids. So even though it seems like it's coming out of nowhere, it has built up over a period of time where you have not been aware of what's going on for your child, okay? So then it's that one drop of water that causes that rain barrel to overflow. So the next thing that I did is I worked with that mom on not taking things personally and learning how to stay calm. Okay, and that is by far the hardest part. How are we doing here, guys? Any questions? I love having people here with me. Any questions, anyone? Okay, so I did some EFT with her. I worked with her on not taking her son's behavior personally. So this is all kind of like gumshoe, sleuths. So then she was able. The first day it was super tough, right? But these things don't happen overnight. It takes time to make change, right? It takes time. However, then she was able to keep it together herself. And I use the analogy sometimes of your house is on fire, right? So you're like, my house is on fire, my house is on fire. And the firefighter shows up at the door and your firefighter guy is there. Oh my God, your house is on fire. Oh my God, your house is on fire. Well, you're going to flip out even more, aren't you? Of course you are. Because if your child's up here, like in terms of anxiety or anger, stress, anything, right? And you join them at that level, then the only place it can go is up. So, and this is the biggest challenge for us as moms, is even if we feel like we're about to spontaneously combust on the outside, we have to try to keep our shit together on the inside, okay? So she was able to kind of white knuckle it. And then she did see her son come home and she just gave him space. Okay, so she just let him be. She didn't, ask him the questions. How was your day? Who did you have lunch with? These things that we're dying to know because we love our kids and we want to help them, right? So that is the methodology. I mean, there's obviously a lot more to it, but that is the way that we try to get to the bottom of some of these things. So I would encourage you to, well, if you need support, please reach out. And I would be very, very happy to offer some support. There's actually a link to where you can go and book a call in my calendar to talk with me. But here's another big, big, big nugget. Empathizing. Okay, I want you to think about how you would respond if, hi Vicki, hey, I'm glad you're here. So if you came through my door, well, let me think about this. If you and I were in a relationship, okay, and you walked through the door in a crappy mood, and I said, oh, so I guess you had a bad day, huh? Right? How would you react? You'd be like, wouldn't you? But if you came through the door and I said, oh, it looks like you had a bad day, I'm sorry. Immediately you soften, right? Immediately your guard comes down, because when we're in that place, we are, we're almost looking for something to latch onto. Make sense? If this makes sense to you, give me a thumbs up. Okay, makes sense? I want a thumbs up. Okay, so we have to think about what's going on for our child. We have to put ourselves in their shoes. Okay, and understand life from their perspective. Okay, and that's how we get to the bottom of things. There are a few more steps, but those are the basics. So I'm going to stop there. Listen, if you have not yet downloaded our e-guide to making sense of autism and difficult behavior, you can just, and this applies to whether you are watching now or later, you can just type in guide in the comments and you will be able to download the e-guide. And if you are interested in joining our Facebook group, Lemons to Lemonade, ASD Moms, then we can put a link in the comments down below where you can join our group. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Oh my goodness, I missed a few things. Yes, Vicki, yes, exactly. I learned that last Friday. He picked up on my anxiety and then it went up so fast, so we weren't able to get to his counseling appointment. You know what? You just made such an important point. My son comes home and he is so loud, he needs 30 minutes downtime. Gets his TV time, yeah, excellent. And then I say the talk for bedtime, one good thing for the day and one bad thing. Brilliant, Jackie. That is effing brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Our kids are like little energetic sponges. They soak up our energy. And I truly believe that our ASD children, in fact, I'm quite sure that they are way more energetically sensitive. And that's something I'm going to talk about very soon, is energy and how our energy interacts between two people. So I could blabber on, but I'm going to stop there. I hope this has been helpful. I'm very grateful for you being here live with me. It feels great to have people to talk to. It's a lot nicer to talk to other people than just to talk to Mr. Facebook. He doesn't talk much. So, okay, everyone. Thank you, Vicki. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I think everyone that's here knows that I'm so passionate about helping our kids and helping you as moms, because we take a lot of this on ourselves, and we can actually we can make it worse for ourselves than we need to. So I thank you, Kim. Thank you so much for being here. So I will see you again next Thursday at 8:30. I will be with Karen and we will be in Atlanta. So we will see you from Atlanta next week. And if you have something that you want me to talk about, by all means, please leave a comment below, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a great night. Take care.